It is 3:30 of 2015. We continue with basically a continuation of Jenson's discussion of logos. Even though I'm taking a look at this as a separate lesson, it does really tag on to the previous lesson concerning logos. We're going to look at faith within the dialogue of logos. And the three moments are going to be proposition, referent, and evoking. And as a preliminary statement, you should understand that Robert Jenson is very appreciative of Bultmann, and he exclusively defines faith within John's Gospel only. So he's looking for a very specific theological interpretation that will fit with that which he's already articulated. If we look at the first moment of proposition, we're going to look at the stipulated proposition to be believed in faith. This is the divine speech act of the gospel from the perspective of faith. Faith first appears as our frenetic stance of being available to another at that dialogue threshold. And this includes our own positing of self-definition as a future open entity. We've been open to the future. It's a projecting of the self as not yet finished, as in an intermediate state. Therefore, faith is born out of self as a questioner, the questioning self-transcendence. So the image of God becomes the object of the subject I am. Now Jenson says that knowledge and decision cannot be separated, so the knowledge of faith is going to be interwoven with the decision of faith. The speech act as a proposition is as follows, according to Jenson. In the Gospel of John, John emphasizes the fact that Jesus says, the Father and I are in one another. What the Son says, the Father says, according to John. So that's the basic position that we are interrogated to have faith in. We are interrogated to believe. Or better yet, we are invited to believe. The second moment is the referent. And this ties in with Jenson's theology here. This constitutes the tension between the mutual converse of the occurrence of the divine address and the enabling of our response. We have been enabled capacity to respond. It is our own being that is accomplished by God's address in this space of mutual converse. Nature and grace both become two sides of the same conversation conducted by God. Nature equals the command, let there be, and grace equals the command and invitation of Christ is risen. So in hearing the first, we are open to the second. So Jenson says that the concept of dramatic openness is best to describe the openness of nature toward grace. Now the concluding address that we are confronted with is the fact that we are already caught up in creative dialogue within which we hear the concluding address of grace. Now the content of our enabled response is taken again exclusively from John's Gospel. Faith in God must be equated with faith in Christ. This is the task of faith. Jesus, as word of speech act, calls for faith, and it interrogates us and invites us. Our belief or faith fulfills the work of the Lord as sign, which is described as the reaching of righteousness. Therefore, in conclusion, the referent for the proposition that I and the Father are one is the homoousia space within the Father. Again, that really ties in with what we previously discussed concerning Jenson and his discussion of the Trinity. but that referent is the homoousia space, and that concept equals the shared ousia space between the Father and the Son, where they share the same property and the same wealth of identity, the same property and wealth of identity. We are to believe what the incarnate Word says. Now, within the realm of spirit, we're going to get into the concept of evoking the children of light. If logos equals a dialogue of antiphony, then faith equals our singing alteration of spirit, our own individual speech act. Now, the speech act within faith's referent is coupled with the works of the Lord as signs, which evoke and empower our faith as an ongoing eschatological event. So the doxa glory that is apocalyptically unveiled in signs equals the substance of glory that reveals to us the glory of the Father and Son as being a glory that is shared in the homoousia space, the tri-mutual space within the Father. So our Piece 2 of faith actually does synthesize the speech act of the Son's word along with the sign acts of the Son's work. And this faith inaugurates our being as light. Being becomes equated with light, or the inauguration of the communal children of light. So we could have expected this. Jenson has given us very unique definitions of time as music, space as consciousness, logos as a dialogue of alternating musical response. And so now he talks about faith as really being a active eschatological faith of believing that the Father and the Son are reciprocally in each other. The Son is in the Father is in the Son. This reciprocity of Christ and the Father being in one another is that which the Gospel of John tells us we need to have faith in and believe in, and to continually have faith in as an eschatological event in the realm of spirit. But it's all taken basically from the Gospel of John. Jenson felt that this particular version of faith, John's theological position, fit very, very well with his own theological position, especially when he relies so heavily on that doctrine of God of the trimutual ousia space within the Father. That takes us up through page 73.